Well, like we should try it, like just talk for a minute at
Okay.
this level.
Like that.
Have a conversation with me for a second, lady.
Well, how do you have a conversation with people anyway?
What's up with tarot card readings? What do you think about that?
Tarot card reading. I think it's energy. I think it's energy from the reader.
From what?
From the reader. And it depends on where the reader is tuned in.
Where the reader is tuned in. What do you mean by where?
There are a lot of. Actually, it has a lot to do with the planets, I think, and your sun sign. And the sun, the sun, yeah, the sun. There's actually the sun, the rising, the moon, and Venus, and the North Node. It all matters, all that shit from the birth chart.
Yeah, but that's
wherever somebody is at when they're doing a reading. The ones that I monitor, it's really interesting that there are little groups that they always have negative messages, and another group that always has positive messages. So neither group should be as negative or as positive in monitoring it.
Honestly.
Yeah. I'm more interested in the energy that's kind of moving around in different places and what's happening, and usually groups of people. As the readings come out, and I do readings too, there's a general energy. It's like for the last maybe 4 days or so. I think the moon's been in Capricorn the last 4 days, 3 days. Everybody was, getting stuff done and doing this and doing that and doing that and doing that. Everywhere, everybody was going, ugh! I was doing it too. I was throwing shit all over my walls and running around everywhere.
High energy cycle?
Yeah. And then, so that's why that's one of the reasons I started looking at the planets. Because it was following moon cycles. I was seeing the energy in the cards coinciding with the moon cycles, and then eclipses, and then, different things that were going on. And then you can even kind of see the waxing and the waning. It's really fascinating, but that's not what people want to hear. People want to hear what the X is doing.
There's the beast, and then there's I don't know, it's like the beast is going to take the beast's cut, and then there's the good you're allowed to do while you're there.
Yeah. And I would like to, kind of cheer people along to, it's funny. All you need to do is get an almanac. The Old Farmer's Almanac. Take a look at the moon cycles in there and what's going on with nature. It's incredible. It goes on with us too. It's all the planning and the seasons and stuff like that. If you just think about it and read the book and think, this is my neighbors and me. That's what the energy is.
Yeah, it's the disconnect from the cyclical, just the nested cycles.
Yeah.
That's everything is. Like the delusion that we're separate from it, when man versus nature is a delusion.
Right. And I think that's what keeps everybody from experiencing and understanding Kundalini. Because you look at nature that way, and the cycles and the moon, and the way that nature works, and then the way God works, and the way the energy of God works, and how it comes together. That's Kundalini. And when people notice that, they stop fighting it. Then you have the flow. It's hard to do, though. It can be really hard to do. You can't walk up to somebody like my ex, they've got to work. They've got to work. They're going to work and work and work and work until they're too fucked up to even enjoy a retirement. You know what I mean? They can't do anything except be regimented, especially high achievers. Very high achievers become so regimented.
Well, I think a lot of that is like the programming. Like they say, I was thinking about it on the drive. It's like the word impressionable.
Yeah.
It's like if something like you gotta do that gets impressed into you when you're that young and fresh.
Right.
Or if the world is a terrible place gets impressed into you when you're young.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
How much, like, I've seen the world in so many different ways over my 4 decades.
Yeah.
And I'm now starting to see it as like, the really good stuff is for the kids. And like, if society can like keep the kids from getting too fucked up till they hit 14, everything else will probably sort itself out.
In my head, you take that baby and you don't take it away from mama. You don't take it away from daddy. They're both there. They're both raising that baby. They're both loving that baby. And they're teaching that baby that it's perfect. Just the way it is. And that what it thinks is important. And where it wants to go is important. And who it loves is important. And you set guidelines around them. But you also live it. You live it around them. You give this to them. And people don't have time anymore. You gotta buy groceries. Can't buy groceries anymore. Unless 2 people work in the house.
The system has been entirely engineered to be, ain't nobody got time for that.
Right.
Because convenience is the easiest way to get people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Convenience and fear. A lot of fear.
Well, cosmology-wise, what is this trip? This human being trip? What's going on here? Best guess.
Huh?
Best guess.
I think it's just another dimension.
Infinity is a big space to fill.
Very big space to fill. The cartoon in my head is bubbles. We stack bubbles. And I think we seriously move into different dimensions, at least spiritually, in one lifetime. Because I think that's what the shifts are.
Well, it's like stupid Bashar bullshit. Okay, but say matter never moves.
Yeah.
Never.
Never. No matter.
Like each frame of existence is solid.
Yeah.
And we're moving through frames of existence like a fish tank. And like you can swim to the world where everything is roses, or you can swim to the world where they're about to like face the apocalypse.
That's cool. That sounds like Akvila.
Akvila?
Yeah. She astral travels in what do they call it? She worked with Rick when I did the Ubi.
Rick when I did the Ubi.
When I did the Ubi boot camp.
These things are memories the listeners don't have.
Yeah. Rick, I'll show you.
No, just tell us about her.
About Akvila? Akvila was a student of Rick's, and she kept having all these vivid dreams. And then she started talking, and it kept sounding like she was really going someplace else. And as they kept talking, they realized that, yeah, she could choose where she wanted to go. And she would go and she would be a soldier on a spaceship, or she would go to another planet. You know, stuff like that. I wanted to see that. So I went through Rick's program, the same thing she did.
Uh-huh.
And that's when I went through, and there was an extremely tall person and tiny people, and we found the little baby. And then there were ladies in bunny suits that made me coffee. But I told them I had to go home now because I was nervous. I came home. I saw myself sleeping. I'd heard that people say that 1 billion times, but I thought, seeing yourself asleep. I saw myself when I was asleep. I went to that place. And I was a little bit afraid because people started saying, you know, bad spirits can come in and do something to you when you're out there doing that. It was like I had a protector right at my back. Actually, it was the one, I feel like the protector pushed me. I feel like they made me go. Because when I went through, I wasn't even completely dressed. And now I'm in pants and shoes. And that's when the tall guy came up, took off his pants. And this man he had to be, not 20, but... You know,
15 feet tall?
Maybe 10 or 12. And he took off his pants, and I mean, skin, you know, tall man. and he just walked right up to me. He was wearing a trench coat and blue jeans and just a plaid shirt, black hair, tallest, thinnest person I'd ever seen. Took his pants off, handed them to me. I put them on and they fit. And then he turned to walk away, but he had pants on. And there's all these people on a couch. It looked straight from the 70s, really, it did. In
The couch?
Like this lodge that I was in, and the furniture, too. And the way the people were dressed, and the way they were behaving, all the mellow, you know, stuff like that. And they just looked at me and smiled. Like it was no big deal for me to show up in their living room without any pants.
They all just tripped acid, so...
And then I went outside and helped the tiny person find her tiny baby. And after I found the tiny baby, the bunny ladies were across the street sitting on a curb in front of a coffee shop. And I went over there and sat down. And they knew all about me. Particularly one, but I didn't stay. They made me nervous.
Anybody knows all about you is enough to make somebody nervous.
I don't know, I feel a little better, to be honest. Just slamming it out there. Just going, okay. Before you hear everybody else's story about me, I was a total fuck up the first half of my life. You want to talk about it or not? Because I'll talk to you about it. I'll tell you what I did. I'll tell you.
Yeah. What are you doing now?
Yeah. I don't care. And because people think that gives them power over you. If they think you don't want people to know something about you, suddenly they have power because they know something you don't want other people to know.
That's the interesting point our society is getting to. It's like, what happens when it doesn't matter if you have blackmail on somebody?
I know, right? That's what happened to me.
It's like...
That's what happened to me. They said, well, she's a drunk. I went, yeah.
But it's getting to the point where, like, canceling has become such a joke.
Yeah.
That, like, there won't be any reputation damage for no matter, like, it's almost to the point where the Marquis de Sade could come out the closet.
Yes,
almost. We're pretty close. If he lived in North Korea, I don't think anybody would bat an eye.
Wow.
I think they'd watch his live stream.
Do you really? What's happening in North Korea?
There's just nobody cares what happens to the North Koreans.
Oh.
I mean, there's all peace on earth, goodwill toward men, and we know what's going on in North Korea.
I don't know what's going on in North Korea.
We know it sucks.
Yeah. I don't know anything.
That's true. It could be a complete lie. It might be a secret paradise place.
And like
It's like
the
they just-
Ukraine,
they
the
just
Ukraine or Russia.
Well, I don't know what's good. I've got eyewitness accounts from there. But
Do
North
you
Korea-
really? That's cool.
Well, fourth or fifth hand, but yeah, the North Korea could be a paradise in there for all we know.
Right.
Right? We just gotta shoot a fake nuke every.
Right. The
6
whole place
months.
is like Dubai. It's just.
Have you heard of Astana?
No.
It's an amazing place, but
Oh really?
not. This is neither here nor there. It's in this recording. Well, are we still recording? What's going on? What
Yeah,
have we
I
done?
think we are.
Did we ever start recording? Oh, we did. There we go. Just 25 minutes.